Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 71, written by user Sydney Danielle 23. Hotel elevator ascends, not to where it's supposed to. First off, I know this is nothing compared to the other stories on here, but I choose to share because why not? Before and after this incident, several other things continued happening to me, strange things. I've just gotten used to it and even have learned to appreciate them. So this was when I was about 8, 2001. My mom, brother, aunt, and grandma had all traveled to Chicago to see Dinosaur Sue. We had been staying in a hotel nearby for about 5 days. It was very upscale, new, and overall very nice. For those entire 5 days, my mom would let me run ahead to the elevator when returning to our room from swimming, getting ice, etc., and let me ride up alone since our room was right to the left of the elevator when you got off, and my grandma would always have the door cracked. One day, on the way back from the pool, I just got out. Wet hair, suit, towel. I did the same, ran ahead and entered the elevator, pressed the button for the 7th floor. There is only one elevator in this hotel, by the way. When I got to the 7th floor, which I knew by the signs outside the elevator, I went to the second door to the left, as I had maybe 20 times before in that week. I knocked and knocked. Nothing. I remember becoming weirdly alarmed at this point. The best way I can describe it. Even though I was smart enough to know I could always just return to the lobby, or that my mom would be arriving shortly. So, while wondering why my grandma wasn't answering the door, I returned the few feet to the elevator and waited for my mom and brother. I saw on the display that the elevator was arriving on floor 7, the floor I was on, which was written on the sign. I see the light and hear the elevator ding. The doors open. Empty. At this point, I just feel something is very off and return to the door, knocking and crying now, getting cold because I'm still very wet from the pool. Finally, after no more than 1 minute, a very old woman answers the door and says, "Dear, I told you already yesterday, this is not your room." I had never been there yesterday. She then said, "It'll be fine, I'm very sorry, but I'm on the phone with my son. Give it a few more minutes, your mother is coming." And freaking closed the door. I was shocked, and how could anyone close the door on a crying kid who lost their mother? Especially a woman who seemed like the caring grandmother type. Almost immediately after she closed the door, the elevator opened and my mom ran out crying and grabbed me. She was saying, "Oh honey, where were you? I've never been so worried." She then went to open the door. Not our room. She was stunned. The whole time I'm trying to explain I had been here, and my timeline of events had only been about 5 minutes. She kind of just went into autopilot and went back into the elevator with me. She pressed 7 again. The doors closed super briefly and then reopened. The elevator didn't move at all. Once the door opened, we both saw my grandmother standing in the second door to the left crying, and then very happy, running to hug us. I had been missing for 45 minutes. Police were called. Every floor had been gone to. They were still in the process of knocking on all doors, opening even locked, vacant rooms. My mother had decided to once more go and look at the pool to see if I had returned there. Then, after seeing it empty, she took the same only elevator back to floor 7. Only this time, out of the multiple other times that day, she found me. And not only that, we were not in the elevator hiding out, as it was the only one. And the police and staff had gone up and down the elevator multiple times looking for me. We still talk about it to this day, and I can't explain it. My hair was still wet. The police were kinda pissed until the hotel staff pulled up the camera showing me getting on the elevator, but then never getting off. Then, what was the creepiest was that my mother got on from the lobby. You see her get on. 10 minutes pass. Then she gets off at floor 7 with me in her arms. They went through all cameras on all floors, which had very clear angles of the elevator on each floor. Nothing. I swear, the staff was freaked out, as were the police. They were almost convinced someone had taken me and then became freaked out and left me shortly after. They were stumped as to why my hair was still wet, but they couldn't refute the cameras, as they were high resolution, working correctly and everything. I always wanted to call back and see if they were still talking about it years later. I just don't want to mess with it, because it's not like I even see the event as serving a purpose, you know? I have no clue who the woman was, nor was I ever able to identify her. Because of the investigation, even after they found me, they locked down the hotel and all possible exits, and even had a perimeter surrounding the hotel. Chicago does not mess around, by the way, with possible abductions. Every guest in the hotel was more than happy to help. All women from ages 50 and on, all willingly let the police take photos, but not one of them was the woman I saw in our room. The woman I saw had very blue eyes. Like very. The only possible connection I can think of is that the woman and I had almost identical eyes. I have kind of a rare color for how dark my hair is. I don't know. Update. Just texted my mom. She thinks, I think it might have been the DoubleTree. I'm sure I can find out. I also called the police station and they have no clue what I'm talking about. What the hell? And I find it weird that no one in my family can remember the name of this hotel. Even my grandma, who has traveled the world and remembers every place she ever stayed at, can't remember the name. Case file number 71. Do you know what I think? Somehow this was a glimpse of you into the future, as a mature lady. The hint is given that your eyes seem to match almost identically, and no one in the hotel over 50 matched who you saw. It explains why this lady, you in the future, showed no concern. She knew your mom would find you right after because it had already happened to her. Already happened to you. Of course, where were you in those 45 minutes? It's not a hidden hotel room, nor would it be an alternate universe crossover, since those run concurrently with our timeline. It is as if you temporarily time traveled into the future. Your mom too, somehow, related with that elevator, then back. I don't understand how, though. It's truly baffling. It doesn't really fit into any of the ordinary glitch boxes. The author responded to my comment, saying, I know, it blows my mind. Logically, it doesn't make sense. I still think it could be a coincidence, or like maybe a deceased relative. Who the heck knows? What do you think? A quick note before the next story. If you're enjoying the video, consider sharing it. It really helps. Thank you. Case file number 72. Written by user Rogue Stardust. Skeptical, but what he saw convinced him there's more to this world and beyond. I work with one other person closely throughout most workdays, and today, we get to work early as we knew we had to get stuff done before the snowstorm hits. I work at a burial vault manufacturer, and we deliver and set up funerals graveside, if the customer wishes. Well, on this morning, I walk to the back and turn on the lights to see each section of the shop, and on the very last switch I turn on, I see an older gentleman facing away from me, leaning against the back wall, facing the back of the shop. It startled me, and I turned around to tell my coworker that there's someone in the shop. My coworker kind of laughs as I tell him, and he says, "Oh, so you saw him, did you?" It's the owner's father who has strong ties to the workplace, but has been dead for 10 years. 3 recorded sightings of him, mine being the 4th. I'm fairly new there, so this has completely caught me off guard. I felt like I was dreaming. I had to sit in the bathroom for 10 minutes to calm down. I saw someone back there who then just disappeared. I always thought ghosts and spirits were nonsense, but this has completely turned me sideways. I see life in a whole new way now. I can't stop thinking about him though. Those blue overalls and white hair with a cap on. Clear as day right there, and it was a ghost. My coworker, who told me he saw him too, has turned me into a believer because I know I'm not losing my mind. Case file number 72. I'm just someone who reports on these accounts, but I've never had any paranormal experience happen directly anyway, so I'm not a believer per se. I just noticed so many stories that it's hard for me to believe they're all fake. Reading this one, I genuinely believe you saw what you did. An old man who previously owned the burial vault company. He passed on, but still was tethered to the location, or at least a droplet of his essence remaining behind. Let me know if you see him again, or any of your coworkers do. Oh, and did your coworkers see him dressed in the same way? Blue overalls and a cap? The author responded to my comment, saying, "Even to this day, over a week later, I lay at night thinking that the world is full of spirits and only show themselves in certain situations. It's honestly like we're living side by side with another reality. My wife says I need to stop obsessing over it, but she didn't see what I saw. It's fascinating but scary at the same time. Yes, always wearing the same outfit. Coworker has seen him twice in the past." Continuing my thoughts. Really is incredible, isn't it? Makes you question if these spirits consciously decide when they want to see or not be seen, or if it sort of happens to them randomly. Are they even aware of their fate, I wonder? The author responded again, saying, "I believe time is irrelevant to them, or they don't play by our rules. I believe some choose to keep one foot in our realm, whether it be for unfinished business or just strong ties to an establishment. I was a full non-believer, so I don't know why he would show himself to me. Maybe it was an introduction." If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and subscribe on up. I'll see you soon.